All right, welcome everybody to this edition of the Action Cast. I am Clint Nobles. With me today is Kelly, and guess what? We are talking about Home Care Ops Nation's 2022 top pick. So make sure and stay through because today you're going to hear all about the top choice for 2022 for all of Home Care Ops Nation. Are you ready? I know I am. Let's get to it. All right, Kelly, thank you so much for being here today. Now, today, Home Care Ops Nation, we have Kelly Braswell with Access Care. Now, you're the sales executive over there, but most of the people in the community, home care operators community, and everywhere else is probably already familiar with you because you're so active in the group. And we appreciate that so much, adding that value. But for those that may be under a rock somewhere and have not met you yet, Kelly, welcome and thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, Clint. Well, thank you for having me. I'm honored. We're honored as Access Care to have been at the top of that survey, and very thankful. But hopefully, thankful to help some other people find something that will help them as well. And I know you guys are so good at that, at helping your clients find what's good for them.
It is a passion of ours. Well, something that Jessica and I really drives us is getting results. And we say so often, take action, get results. And what is so great about that is no matter what the result is, you still have a result. and and today we have a clear result because y'all are the top choice of operational software in Home Care Ops Nation, and we'll get more into that in a little bit. But I want to remind everyone that this is indeed a live cast. The Action Cast is live. So if you want to comment, you want to say, hey, put in the chat or in the comments hashtag live. If you're watching right now, let me know who's out there. And if you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay. And make sure if you haven't yet to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and authorize your account so we can see who is saying some incredible things. All right. And we already have some coming up saying good morning. I don't know who you are, but good morning to you too.
Good morning to you.
In front of me. But go ahead and make sure to go authorize your account so we can see it. Kelly, now before the show, when we were talking, we were going over a few things, and you were talking about in your past being a competitive runner, and I love this, and you and I talked a little bit about this, and when this poll was going on, and as all of you know, every year in Home Care Ops Nation, we put out a poll, and everyone in the home care operators community gets to vote on it. And this particular poll is what software do you use for your scheduling, for your operations? And this year in that poll, by a good margin, Access Care won. Y'all come in as the top choice in the voters for their operational software. And during this, it was so much like a competitive run because you would see some get out in the beginning and then others would come up. And then it finally, in that sprint at the end, y'all pulled ahead and stayed in a commanding lead of it. And you were talking to me earlier about being a competitive runner, and it made such a connection to me because I was like, that's exactly what happened, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, competitive running, basically, I've been running since I was 12 years old, and been running many years since then. And that's always the way it is, but you got to pace yourself. But the thing about being in the front is you have to pace yourself, I guess, with speed or with excellence. You can't just pace yourself and be at the back. You have to pace yourself and work hard to be up near the front. So I guess Access Care does that. Probably doesn't have as much to do with me being a competitive runner in the past, but it does keep me going, and I still run every day now. Love it.
Well, it goes also to cultural mindset, which is something else that you and I were talking about early on. And it's so good to see our good friend Greg Henderson. Hey, Greg, good to see you, my friend. And we were talking earlier about culture and your past. You have an incredible history of really being in the service and care world. And now you're in the service industry. And culture has always been a really important part of who you are and why you come to Access Care. And I'd love to talk to you a little bit about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my wife and I met at Baylor University. We then went on to law school. We actually met in law school there. But soon after that, we kind of turned a quick corner and we started going overseas. We've been to 44 different countries, just helping people in different cultures in so many different ways. Yeah, culture is huge. The culture around you really sets who you are, but it sets how you can help people. That has been a huge thing. And coming to Access Care at the end of 27 years of overseas work and missions work and stuff, coming to Access Care, the culture here, it really is amazing. We talk all the time about how our metrics, what we measure is how many seniors we're helping in their homes each month. And we try to advance that. We have a big goal right now out in front of us, but right now we've been advancing that 3,000 to 4,000 seniors every month that we're helping in their homes. And we love to help people when we're on the phone with them, talking about possibly getting set up with Access Care if that's going to be the best solution for them. Then we love to help them think about how they're not just trying to make a living, but they really are helping people to be able to age with dignity in their homes and to feel valued and to be in a place where they're not fearful, but they're comfortable. And we try to keep that on the front of our mind as we're talking to people about Access Care. We're not just selling a product, we're trying to really empower people to be able to help people. And then just the culture in our office is just so awesome. Everyone's always a lot of fun, having fun, and trying to bless people. Yeah.
That's so good. And you can tell you love not just what you're doing, but where you're doing it, because the smiles, the infectious energy that you have about it. And when you're talking about helping people, you can tell it's not just a speech. It's not something that you're taught to say. And obviously your career in service has been a testament to that. But beforehand, we were talking about some of your overseas work, and we got to talking about a time when I believe it was in Russia, I think you were talking about, and you had an opportunity to be an impact to someone who had at that point probably no idea y'all really existed. And I would love for you to share that story because it's so impactful and it really goes to showing how your mindset is that in whatever situation you're in, it really is about paying attention to how you can be a service and not just what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, it was just a day. We were out in Siberia. We were there for a full summer, and it had been raining for days. And like I told you earlier, Clint, it had been raining either hard or a little less hard for several days. And the parking lot and street in front of the apartment buildings we were living in, we were on the 3rd floor. And I was looking out the window at the rain, and I noticed this diminutive, tiny little Russian lady who was out in front of her house trying to scoop dirt in front of her little picket fence because the parking lot was about 2 feet deep in water. It was flowing down the hill to her house through her picket fence and going into her house. And so I yelled at one of my teammates, Pete, and Pete was a big burly guy. He had been a cheerleader for Baylor. He just had big muscles because he was used to holding, those little cheerleader ladies up in the air and throwing them around. And so I yelled at him and we ran down to the parking lot and we started finding these curbstones, like you park against them in the parking lot. We had to find them with our feet because the water was so deep. And so we would fish around with our feet. We would find one, and then Pete would throw his end up because he's a big guy, and I'm 5'7" and weigh 140 pounds, and so I would lug my end up, and we just kind of built a barrier around the front of her picket fence. And I don't know if it kept all the water out, but man, she was happy and impacted, and she was kissing us all over our faces, and she was talking in Russian. And we had learned some, but not a lot. And I kept saying, "Не говори по-русски." I kept saying, "I don't understand Russian," and she kept saying, "You do understand Russian because you just said you don't understand Russian." Anyway, and I don't know that we long-term impacted her, but at least she could remember those foreign guys for the rest of her life, hopefully, who tried their best to help keep our house from flooding. And anyway,
I promise you, that was a long-term, effect that you had on her, because what really that speaks to is this understanding of what true service is. That it's not about the flashy, it's not about the big ultimate outcomes, but it's about making a difference in one person at a time, right?
See a need and meet it if you can. Yeah.
I know one of Jessica's favorite statements actually come from a cartoon called Robots, and it says, "See a need, fill a need."
Okay.
And that's such a true element. And going back to culture, that's really the culture that exists with where you are with Access Care, seeing that need, filling that need. And you can tell that through the comments and everything, because in that poll, we were asking people, "Hey, what do you find about your software that you love or you're so excited about?" And but one of the across the board things, and just like Mary says here, the ease of use, the modern appeal, but across the board, it was the customer service. Like time and time again, people talked about the customer service and the way that you have walkthroughs and webinars and your updates, and you're not just sending people out there to figure it out, you're actually being a part of that. And that's so important when it comes to a software.
Yeah, well, we really try. And of course, there are times when our phones are full, just because it's just a busy day or something, but we try our best to answer the phone with a person as often as we can. And we have about an 85% first time call answer, which is huge, very, very high in a call center environment. But we also try to listen to our customers. And if we're hearing something enough, we try to accommodate that into the software when we can. We always try to respond as quickly as we can. And there's frustrations with anything that you're learning with a new product or a new anything in life. But we really do try.
Yeah, well, having that support can really help abate and in some ways eradicate that frustration, because the reason we're frustrated in so many times, I know from my own experience, is because I don't know what I'm doing in it. We feel lost in this, right? But to have someone that does know is so important. And I know she mentioned, these webinars, and I know you had talked about it as well. What are the webinar elements that y'all do?
Yeah, well, when you're using your software with Access Care, down in the bottom right corner, there will be a little box that'll pop up from time to time. And it will be a new feature with some instructions or a link to click to go to those instructions. Or it will just be a notice of one of our free Friday webinars. And so we try to listen to comments of what people are needing or hoping for, or it's a new feature that we're trying to teach about. And you don't have to pay for those webinars. They're free for any of our agencies that we work with. And they're just Fridays, usually at noon. And then one of our experts here gets on that webinar and kind of just shows you how to use it or what the new feature is and those things. Yeah.
I love it. And of course, one of the things that come up quite a bit was your marketing features, just like Leslie's talking about here. And having a way for a software within our agencies to incorporate that marketing side of what we do is so important, and something that Jess and I talk about a lot, especially with our master operators and our action leaders, is understanding the experience-based marketing and how that flows into your operations. and having a way for a software to connect to that, it can really be a game changer.
Yep, and what we try to do is give you one spot where you can keep all of your contacts, all of your connections, and then you can use those referral contacts or referral organizations, and you can build groups, marketing groups where you can send out notices to them, or advertising, or just stay in their lives and in front of their face all the time. You can also just measure those referrals and see, who's actually bringing you the most referrals or the most income and things like that. So yeah, the call log she was talking about, that's just an easy way to receive calls for your front desk person or whoever that is, or anyone actually using the software, to receive calls and then tag other people and other users in your offices so that they see those calls or they see a new lead or things along those lines. So yeah.
Communication.
Yeah.
Like that is so vital when it comes to not only conversions, but retention, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy. And, throughout this whole process, you've talked a lot about listening to your people, right? Listening to the clients, and responding with updates or new elements that you're doing. And one of those things that y'all have done for a little while is, Lori talks about your interactive forms, how you can build your own forms. You can have this, but there's actually something that y'all just recently come out with that really comes into this, and that's e-signatures. And tell us a little bit about that, because the e-signature portion is huge for those that are going paperless and really wanting to streamline their workflows.
Yeah, and we a lot of people mentioned that, of course, and then with COVID and needing to be remote and being able to communicate remotely, that came even more into play. And so our custom forms creator, you can make any form that you need to. We already have a care plan template, an assessment template, an application template for caregivers that they can fill out. So we have those already, but then you can create any form you need to, and send it out to be signed remotely, or you can set up workflows so that, for instance, first of all, the client needs to sign it. Once the client signs it, it automatically then goes to the caregiver. And once the caregiver signs it, it automatically comes back to the office or whatever that might be. And you can set up those electronic workflows like that to be signed out there somewhere.
You don't realize how excited I am about that piece, because being able to have an e-signature portion that's easy to function with is really important when you're going paperless. I know for Jess and I, that's something that we focused on early on in our business, was understanding how to streamline that workflow and how to go paperless. Now, our master operators, we do this so often with our pre-care assessments and all these different things that work together. But there was always still this manual element of having to re-enter that information into the system after we had gotten it electronically. And so it's really exciting to have something that in one place you can actually have all of that stuff stored, so that for compliance sake, for communication sake, and then with your tagging features, like it really is incredible. And I can see why for 2022, like Access Care took top choice in the Home Care Ops Nation poll. So congratulations on that. I love it.
Well, thanks. We're very blessed by that. Yeah.
Now, one of the things that we were talking about, and of course you and I have met a few times, and mostly our conversations exist around barbecue, which anybody that knows me knows my conversations mostly exist around barbecue. But something I did not know about you until today is you have 6 kids.
That's right. That's right. Our first one was actually born on accident in Russia. He was born 9 weeks premature, so he caught us by surprise. And once a baby starts coming, we didn't have time to fly back to America. And we were just blessed to somehow have a 31-week instead of 40-week baby, 9 weeks premature, be born perfectly healthy somehow. And very blessed by that. And then the other when my wife had our second child, little girl, she was born here in Waco, and my wife kept feeling like she was forgetting something because all we did was go to the hospital, have a baby, and go home. We didn't have to do all the rigmarole of flying to Moscow and taking 3 days to get a new passport for a brand new baby that accidentally happened. Anyway,
Oh my Lord.
We have 6 kids. They're wonderful. They're from 28 years old down to 12. So we still have 3 in our house.
Oh my Lord. I can't imagine. Like, we stopped before we got outnumbered. Like, we have 2. And I can't imagine having 6 kids, especially with those ages, and you still have 3 there at home. You really are a competitive runner. That's a long-term mindset right there.
Endurance, one step in front of the other. We actually have 4 at home because the second one moves back in for a while right now while she's getting her feet under her back here in Texas. So anyway, it's a blast. We love our kids, and they keep us on our toes and keep us young, even though I am getting older,
Hey, I tell you what, it has been so good to get to know you. And I know it has for Home Care Ops Nation, because we see the value and all that you add and the different questions and stuff that you'll answer and be a part of in the group. And we sure appreciate that and being such a support for those in the community. But now getting a chance to actually get to know you, kind of put a face to that value a little bit. So it's been really great. And congratulations on taking this top choice. It really is awesome.
Thank you. I don't have a whole lot to do with that because our developers and our people with vision, of course, they build and keep the software going. But I do hope that the people that I get to talk with on the phone, that they know they're valued and they're important as well. And we are hoping for the best of success for everyone, whether it's someone with 2 clients or 5,000 clients. And we have agencies all in between there. So.
Speaking of getting a hold of you, Kelly, if someone has a question about software or about your incredible experiences overseas, like what is the best way to get a hold of you?
Well, you can call me on my direct phone. That's 865-300-0571. I don't know if that'll be written anywhere or not, Clint, but so you can call me there on that direct phone, or you can email me at kellybraswell@accesscare.com. I believe those will be here somewhere. You can always find me in the comments and streams and things in Home Care Ops. And so I'd love to be caught there, Home Care Ops Nation, if you want to. And then I think you can contact Clint and Jessica anytime you needed to. They'd be able to also get to me. I also have a demo link somewhere that if you want to actually see a free 30-minute demo of AccessCare, I'd love to help you with that. I've got that demo link. I sent that to Clint and Jessica, so maybe that'll go up somewhere also.
Yeah, we're going to put it in the comments of this cast so everybody can have access to it if they need it. Kelly, it has been fantastic having you on. I love your experiences, and I really love the passion you have for not just helping, but serving and being a support. So thank you so much for being on today with us in the Action Cast.
It's my honor to be asked to be here. Thank you so much. Thanks for doing that survey. Thanks for all that you and Jessica do for the home care industry and the people in your lives. I know the same thing. You are serving people all the time, trying to let their dreams come true, help their dreams and empower them. And so thankful for that. Everything I watch you guys do, it's not only with excellence, but it just tickles me. The way you guys do things is just wonderful, quirky, perfect, but you're getting really, really good stuff all the time to your people. And so I love it. So thanks for having me on here. Totally love it.
Thank you. That's precious. I really appreciate that. And if you do want to get a hold of us here at Home Care Ops, you can do it by going to the Facebook group, homecareops.com. Just about anywhere you can find Jessica talking just about everything. So she's pretty much out there talking about everything. So, all right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. It has been incredible. And remember, above all, everybody, keep taking action.